Food processing facility sanitation is an integral part of good manufacturing practices. Effective sanitation aids in ensuring the wholesomeness, safety, and quality of shell eggs. The negative impacts on food safety and egg quality are a result of microbial growth. Research has shown that ineffective cleaning and sanitation practices or programs can lead to reduced quality duration or potential product contamination. Residual microorganisms can lead to egg spoilage or foodborne illness. Most of this training series will focus on the United States Department of Agriculture Agricultural Marketing Service pre-operational sanitation inspection expectations. However, remember that the Food and Drug Administration has oversight of consumer shell eggs in the United States as stated in 21 CFR 117. Additionally, customers, accrediting organizations, such as Safe Quality Food, British Retail Consortium Global Standard, and others, as well as state and local regulatory agencies, may have additional facility sanitation expectations that can impact your facility. AMS sanitation requirements are meant to protect the integrity of the USDA grade mark by requiring additional sanitation expectations at facilities that utilize AMS voluntary grading services. To meet these goals, AMS inspectors will assess for voluntary grading program requirements during the pre-operational sanitation inspection and throughout processing operations by utilizing organoleptic inspection assessments. While AMS may review microbial test results as part of certain export programs, AMS does not conduct nor require swabbing or biological testing during routine sanitation assessments. So what is organoleptic inspection? Organoleptic inspection assessments include sight, smell, and touch. However, microbial growth will not always be seen, smelled, or felt.
Before shell egg packers can use AMS voluntary shell egg grading services, a formal facility review must be conducted and approved. The review ensures that a building must be constructed in a sound and sanitary manner that is readily cleanable. For a full list of AMS plant survey requirements, contact the local AMS supervisor. In this module, assessments of ceilings, walls, floors, and associated components of the processing area will be discussed. On the USDA Sanitation Report, processing area structural components are non-critical. However, egregious conditions that may impact product quality or wholesomeness can be assessed as critical at USDA's discretion. Reoccurring unsatisfactory non-critical findings may also be elevated to critical. Non-critical areas are defined as areas that are not likely to imminently affect product quality. Non-critical does not mean it is not important. Non-critical, unsatisfactory conditions should be addressed after the processing line has started, unless unable to safely do so during processing. Ceilings in the processing area are unlikely to accumulate debris or egg meat directly, though regular cleaning is necessary to prevent the buildup of dust and grime. The ceiling can be easily overlooked depending on the height of the processing room, but it is important to assess all surfaces for unsanitary conditions. Ceilings in close proximity to washers may be more likely to accumulate water vapors, which is likely to contribute to mold, mildew, or rust if not addressed. Staining or discoloration on its own does not constitute unsatisfactory findings, but may indicate that cleaning is not occurring on a routine basis. Ceilings may be constructed of a variety of materials requiring different cleaning methods. In all cases, processing room ceilings should be constructed of readily cleanable materials. If concerns arise regarding the ability to effectively clean ceiling materials, processing facility management should contact the USDA AMS supervisor. Any fixtures over the packing and packaging areas must be regularly assessed for cleanliness. Light fixture covers will often collect flies and other insects, as well as cobwebs. Climate control systems and associated ducting may also present issues with condensation and dust buildup. Condensation, whether from HVAC units, water lines, or from the ceiling itself, is a significant contamination concern. Any observed condensation must be addressed and cannot be allowed to drip onto eggs, processing equipment, or packaging materials. Ceiling fans present a challenge for assessment if they are left on during sanitation assessments and should periodically be turned off to better visually evaluate cleanliness. Dust accumulation on the fan blades is the most likely deficiency to be observed during assessment. If these fixtures cannot easily be observed from the floor, the AMS supervisor should work with management to develop an acceptable alternative method of assessment. Piping and conduit that is attached to the ceiling or wall is to be assessed as part of the processing room. These systems may include sprinklers, compressed air lines, and electrical drops, to name a few. Common deficiencies that may be observed would be dust, mold, or mildew. This is a view of various electrical conduit, air hoses with reels, and other fixtures attached at various points above the processing area. The locations and functions of these fixtures will vary between facilities. From this distance, all fixtures appear to be in good repair and satisfactorily clean. A closer look at this section of electrical conduit shows a buildup of dust. If not addressed, dust will be likely to fall onto processing equipment, packing materials, or eggs. All types of overhead fixtures need to be routinely cleaned to prevent this level of buildup. This is an unsatisfactory finding in a non-critical area. This section of ceiling in the processing area is visibly soiled and appears to be harboring mold or mildew. This is more likely to occur in regions with high humidity levels or in areas close to washing equipment. This is an unsatisfactory finding in a non-critical area. Walls in the processing area should be unlikely to accumulate debris or egg meat directly, though regular cleaning is necessary to prevent dust buildup. Sections of the wall can be easily overlooked, especially if equipment is in front of the viewable area. Walls that are obstructed by equipment or processing machine components become difficult to view and clean, but are important to assess to prevent unseen buildup. Walls in close proximity to washers may accumulate water vapors from egg washing or backsplash from pressure washing of the egg washer during cleaning, which can contribute to mold or mildew growth if not addressed. As with ceilings, walls may be constructed of a variety of materials requiring different cleaning methods. In all cases, processing room walls should be constructed of readily cleanable materials. A variety of roll-up doors can be located in the processing areas, and these doors must be assessed. The same criteria as assessing walls should be applied. However, these doors may be stored in the open position. USDA inspectors should request the doors be closed for assessment. Fixtures that are attached to processing room walls are to be assessed for cleanliness, including dust buildup. These areas may be overlooked in favor of evaluating processing equipment, but they are as important as any other non-critical area in the facility. Items to be mindful of include air or water hoses, reels or hangers, electrical conduit, electrical outlets, insect traps, sanitizing units, fans, hand washing stations. Hand washing stations can accumulate dirt or soap residues and should be regularly cleaned and maintained. Fans should be routinely turned off to evaluate dust buildup on the fan blades and cages to prevent distribution of dust and grime. Properly maintained insect traps should keep all carcasses contained but will require cleaning if carcasses are found on the walls or floor. Wall-mounted units such as fans, air purifiers, and sanitizing units may be present in the processing rooms. Such units generally have filters in the system. These filters, if present, must be changed routinely to maintain sanitary conditions. Here is a close shot of an exterior vent that is visibly soiled. When in operation, these types of flaps may be difficult to evaluate, so it is important to occasionally check these areas when the vents are turned off. This is an unsatisfactory finding in a non-critical area. This is an especially egregious example of condensation and the resulting microbial growth. Due to the significant risk of contamination, this unsatisfactory finding in a non-critical area would be elevated to critical status and must be addressed immediately. Floors throughout the processing room will become dirty during normal operations. Ideally, inedible containers are strategically placed to catch egg meat, thereby reducing accumulation on the floor. The term reasonably clean is applied during the egg processing shift to indicate that equipment and processing areas are maintained with minimum egg meat accumulation. These are good examples of reasonably clean areas during processing. Trash, such as broken packaging, plastic straps, or discarded plastic wrap around the processing area must be placed in appropriate trash receptacles. During pre-operative inspection, all floors should be thoroughly cleaned of egg meat, trash, and other debris. Floors that are stained or discolored are not considered to be unsatisfactory unless there is additional adhering material. Staining and discoloration may occur when floors are not cleaned thoroughly or due to the chemicals used. Processing area floors are most often constructed of concrete. If other materials are used, they should be constructed of readily cleanable materials. Floors in processing areas are subjected to prolonged chemical exposure that may be caustic or acidic. Over time, these conditions will result in aggregate being exposed in the concrete. When concrete or surface coatings becomes damaged, pitted, or aggregate is exposed, a sanitation concern arises. These areas can harbor dirty water, egg meat, or microbial growth. Damaged floors such as these should be discussed with AMS supervision. If a time period for remediation cannot be agreed upon between plant management and the grader. Shell egg processing operations must have drains placed to remove excess water from the washers and from any sanitation operations. These drains may be equipped with filters or screens in order to prevent debris from entering the plumbing system and should have protective covers for safety. Evaluation of the drains should include the covers or grates and any visible portion of the channel. Sections of buried drain lines are very likely to emit foul odors if there is a clog. A thoroughly clean drain should show no visible egg meat or debris and should have little to no odor. Here is a section of flooring that is satisfactorily cleaned. The section of floor shown here is showing signs of deterioration, likely from repeated exposure to caustic or acidic chemicals. While no action is needed yet, the floor will eventually need repair once the coating has worn away. This floor is also satisfactorily clean. The coating has deteriorated in small patches, but the concrete beneath is in good repair. Facility management should begin to work on planning repairs at this point to prevent damage to the underlying concrete. This is an example of extensive damage to the floor resulting in exposed aggregate. While this floor is shown in a satisfactorily clean state, water is free to pool in the damaged areas and will be likely to accumulate dirty water, egg meat, and microbial growth. Repairs should have occurred before this level of deterioration occurred. This drain channel is in good repair but was not fully cleaned. While the grate appears to be in satisfactory condition, the channel beneath still contains egg meat throughout. These channels should be thoroughly cleaned each night to prevent microbial growth. This is an unsatisfactory finding in a non-critical area. The grates to this drain channel have been bolted down, making cleaning exceptionally difficult. Eggshells, egg meat, and debris are packed into the channel. Combined with the wet environment, this is a perfect harbor for microbial growth, which is likely to produce noxious odors. While drains are a non-critical area, the condition of this drain is serious enough to be elevated to critical status and must be addressed immediately. Any processing equipment in close proximity to this drain may not be used until the drain is in satisfactory condition. This drain has no visible shells or egg meat, but is coated with sludge. As with the previous example, the condition of this drain is serious enough to be elevated to critical status and must be addressed immediately. Any processing equipment in close proximity to this drain may not be used until the drain is in satisfactory condition. A wide variety of utility items may be found within processing plants. Any equipment on the processing floor, whether intended for egg contact or not, must be kept clean. Common items include anti-fatigue mats for employee comfort, portable fans, plastic or metal carts for transporting equipment or rework eggs, portable or fixed tables or shelves, hand trucks for transporting equipment. While maintenance carts will not be closely assessed by USDA, they must be kept in a manner that does not cause the surrounding areas to become unclean. Any tools used during the processing day must be thoroughly cleaned at the end of each processing shift. Tools used by plant employees during processing operations include items for inedible egg collection or cleaning, such as inedible buckets or pails, squeegees, dustpans, catch pans. Tools used by maintenance crews are not part of routine sanitation assessment unless they are causing processing areas to become unclean. Here is a collection of inedible buckets and handling tools that were emptied but not cleaned from the previous shift. All containers must be thoroughly cleaned each day. These containers are unsatisfactory and non-critical, but must be cleaned before they are used again for the next shift. These inedible buckets and catch pans appear to have been satisfactorily cleaned and are being stored on a clean pallet. This is a satisfactory, non-critical finding. There are many styles and configurations for egg processing areas. It is important to familiarize yourself with each egg processing facility you encounter to ensure the processing area is effectively evaluated before processing begins each day. Keep in mind, in any egg facility, all egg contact areas are critical.